Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see. Mhm. Yeah. Sweet. Test, 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 test. Okay. That's just a me thing. My computer is super stupid. I have like a Focusrite, and the drivers are bad, so that makes it really quiet. I can turn it up a little bit without it clipping. How's that? Is that okay?
Unmute my microphone, that'll help. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what we're going to do differently today, obviously, we said the thing like understanding it from the other character's perspective. So what I want you to do as we're watching this is watch this as if you were the Fox player.
Okay.
So, like, your eyes are going to be on Falco, right? Rather than the other way around.
Right.
Just turn down melee you quick. And I think that I always find, like, I only started doing this a couple of years ago, but it's really eye-opening once you watch it from, like, the opponent's perspective. A lot of things become a lot clearer, I feel like. Like how they're getting some of their openings and, you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, cool. Okay, so have you, like, out of interest, have you played like much Fox?
No, I
No.
cannot play that fucking character. Jump squad.
Okay.
It's all the exact same shit, but the jump squad is so awful.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Yeah, so like, as I was watching there, my like main sort of vibe I got from if I was the Fox player there would be that it feels pretty easy to sort of like jump around the Falco and sort of like avoid him. So like I'll go back quickly. So like here for example, you know, you've got him on, or like, you know, he sees Falco in front of him and shield, he just jumps out of the way. You know, pretty easy to avoid, right? Doesn't lead to anything, but it's whatever. And then there's that weird one that happened as well there, right?
How do you feel the breakdown is for this matchup? 50-50, or do you think it's poor Fox favored?
Honestly, I don't really think about numbers that much for matchups.
Yeah, I guess they don't really matter.
No.
Right?
Like I just prefer to focus on like what are the actual interactions that happen. And I think, you know, Falco wins some, Fox wins some others. I don't feel like it's like in practice I'd say it's not as hard as like, you know, Moth or something. So, but I don't feel like any of Falco's matchups are like super hard, like, you know, unwinnable or whatever, you know.
I agree.
But yeah, so far it just feels like the Fox is getting a lot of chances to like just jump around you. And we've talked a bit before about that like 45-degree angle, right?
Oh, the Sakurai angle? Just like
Oh no, so like okay, yeah, let's talk about that now then quickly. Sorry, I do a lot of lessons with a lot of people, so there's like some stuff. Okay, so basically there's sort of this like, not rule with Falco, but generally if the opponent's at a 45-degree angle to you like this, it's usually a pretty bad situation for you if you have it front facing, because
I guess the only thing you can do to resolve it is turn around, tilt, which is
yeah, turn your back, right? But if you're in the air like this, you don't really have any moves that hit this space. And you can see how, you know, Fox's full hop, for example, goes over that, right? And puts him at that angle, which is really hard for you to contest. Similar situation with, say, Peach floating, right? That's 45-degree angle. Puff back airing is usually at a 45-degree angle, like she'll full hop over and then or come from the platform or something. Moth naring is another one that's sort of at an annoying angle. Yeah, all those things are at that sort of annoying angle that's sort of difficult for you to interact with. And I feel like so far this fox has had a really easy time setting up that sort of position, is how I would describe it. So, you know, like there he jumps over. This one was a bit weird. Watch a bit more. This one was a bit different because you could have maybe like up tilted or something, but it's still like the same sort of thing, right? He's just coming down in like if you, I feel like if you're Fox here, like you want the opponent to be right under you here, right? Because then you can obviously land with this back air or something, right? Like it feels like if we're watching this from Fox's perspective, you're ending up within his sort of threat range a lot, without him having to like earn it, if that makes sense. Yeah, right. Like yeah, if we just go back again, and we'll just pause at like random moments and see if you're sort of in his range. So like here, for example, right, in his threat range. That one was fine. You know, this one here as well, right, where he bears over the laser. Again, a bit weird, but it's these sorts of scrappy situations that Fox wants, right?
Right.
But yeah, you know, you run into his move here. This one's whatever. You know, we shield drop down here, and then we end up still within his threat range, right?
There's a lot of up tilts that I missed.
Yeah, that you missed. Yeah, that's fair.
Guy, yeah.
Same with this one as well, right? So like, so you messed up with the up smash. That's fine. And then you're sort of like frame neutral, roughly. You know, you can move at the same time. And again, we're like pushing into his range. Like his range is probably like this here, right? If he's gonna nair, and we just sort of jump right in. So yeah, again, if I'm Fox, I'm just like, okay, well, this guy is just letting me like throw out moves in my sort of immediate vicinity, and he's just gonna sort of get hit by them, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to be trying to play outside this range a bit more. Again, make him work for it, right? Make it so that he has to like, you know, run all this way and then like overshoot into you or something.
Right. Okay. Is this right here? Is this the double laser length that Fiction talks about? Where you can just like double laser twice and he can't do anything?
I'd say a tiny bit further. The really important detail there is that you want to already have the laser out at this range, right? Like you can't be shooting your first laser now in place. Yeah, because he's going to hit you, right? So you need to have that first one set up or enough time to get it set up. You know? That was pretty unfortunate. You could have maybe like light shielded or something. But again, I think just like so far it's just been like responding to the immediate threat that Fox has. That just hasn't really been too put together there. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, watch this one from Fox's perspective this time. So he goes up to the platform. He's going to drop through. And if you're Fox here, you're thinking, ah, shit, I messed up, right? Like, I'm dropping into a Falco about to laser me. You know, that's like a loss for Fox, right? And you can see how that spot's a lot different from his perspective to that one where you were just like right underneath him, right? And he got to just sort of fall on you with an aerial. That was weird. again here, so 45-degree angle, right? I mean, with this one you do have bear, but you got to think about the percents, right? Like, if you trade here, it's pretty bad for you. You know, if you bear, you're not going to knock down him, but if he like runs off and nares here, for example, he's going to knock down you.
Right.
So this again might be one where you might want to, you know, roll out the way, dash away, wave dash out of shield, you know, those sorts of things. And again, if I'm Fox here, I'm like, oh great, this guy's at the perfect angle for me to just run off and, you know, try and pressure him, right? Cool. Yeah, a bit of another one here. This is a bit harder to spot because so the Fox, if you look at this from Fox's angle, right? So he's in shield here, and he's trying to get out of the way of a laser, right? Because he doesn't want to sort of be in this plane where the laser's going to cover, right?
Yeah.
So he's pretty like if he wants to avoid a laser here, what's he going to do?
Just full hop over it.
Yeah, right. So what we need to do here is sort of account for the fact that like he's respecting the laser here and trying to get out of this range. So then we need to be playing around the full hop that's going to come, right?
So this, I think we mentioned this. This is a long time ago. This is our first Fox lesson. Would it be like laser, reverse up tilt, and then like if he doesn't full hop into it, just like bear or something?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, to stuff out the space. Okay.
Yeah, you could dash turner on laser. You could just dash dance over here outside of the range, right? But yeah, the really important thing here is realizing that like this laser, like from Fox's angle, he wants to get out of the way of this laser that you're about to shoot. So that lets you know that like he's going to be in a different position to where he is now, right? And I think that was sort of what's missing here, because if we watch what happens, right? I feel like you play this next situation as if he'd just stayed on the ground, right? Because he tried to like nair in. And that's something that, you know, if you look at this spot from Falco's perspective here, it's pretty hard to know, like, you know, it looks like this laser might keep him pinned down, right? Because, you know, he's on the ground, he's in shield or whatever. But from Fox's angle, it's like his priority here is getting out of the way, right?
Right.
So that I think that's one way in which, you know, looking from the other character's angle, like, because their priorities are a lot different to yours, you know.
So like, yeah, why would I ever imagine them just accepting that? And they'd all, yeah, they're bouncing it like over and over again.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I think it is a cool thing as well, like a good skill to have, is just to be able to switch between the perspectives as you're, you know, watching. Like, you know, maybe watch 10 seconds as if you're the Falco player, and then 10 as the Fox player. And I think that can help you to sort of see a lot of things.
I don't know what happened there. I was really...
You got pass fielded, I think, right?
Okay. So
Yes.
I just didn't... I don't get why I didn't grab ledge at all here.
Yeah, it's just something funny that happens with the battlefield ledges. So the best way to avoid this is you want to hold either neutral or back. I'm guessing you were holding forwards here.
Yeah, I think it was probably holding forward, maybe down.
Yeah, which you don't want to do.
Yeah, okay.
Because yeah, there's just some weird property with the ledge where you'll just fall past it.
I think that's probably a big thing. Anytime I side B or like recover onto stage, I'm always holding in, and then like a Sheik will just like F tilt, fair me.
Fair you, yeah.
Small stuff like that, you know, get like that's a really easy thing to fix. But in my head, it's just like
I'm off stage. I want to get closer.
Permanent DI brain, yeah. I'm always trying to, like get DI towards the stage or like hold W.
Yeah, I get you.
Fox is the worst character in the game.
Yeah, I will admit this one. That was pretty unfortunate that you missed the timing on that.
At this point, there's nothing I can do, right?
Well, no, there is.
Can I check that?
So like, so he gets this double shine. The big thing here is how high you can go with your recovery, right? So when you double jump here, you see how like you have the option to both up B or side B. So that means that there is a mix up here.
Okay.
In like most situations. The reason I'd probably say you want to up B here, just because he's not in a position here to or a lot of people aren't willing to just like wait here and do this empty land and then jump out and shine you, right? That's quite like a high level thing to do. I'd say like the sort of level 1 here would just be to cover the ledge and cover the side B, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime you can, like, if you end up where the highest point you can get to is here, then yeah, you're just dead, right? Because he just jumps out and shines you. But if you get good enough DI on the shine so that you can be up here, then you have that mix up between side B and up B. Because from your up B, you know, you have like mangle, but then you also have straight, you know. So you have enough change in the angles available to you, and fast fall mix-ups and drift mix-ups and all that stuff, that it's not like a clean guaranteed like kill for Fox.
Okay.
It's still very good for him, but there's chances to make it back.
Okay.
But yeah, so like again, going from his perspective here, so he gets this grab, gets this double shine, whatever. He full hops out of it, which means that now he's not really in a comfortable position to hit an up B, right? He would have to like land here and then dash dance and then jump out or something. Similarly, I think if you'd have jumped forwards a bit and then tried to like side B shorten here, I think that would have been a pretty hard one for him to cover as well. So sometimes watching from the other character's perspective can be about like, what are they sort of comfortable covering here and what's uncomfortable for them, right? Because a lot of people, you know, will pick the path of least resistance, right, and just cover the easy thing. And I'd say that's one way in which like Mango recovers really well, is just that he picks options that are just like really uncomfortable for people to cover, and
like
that
weird, like just recovering high at like weird angles all the time.
yeah, like weird angles, or like he'll delay things just a little bit longer to make you sort of like second guess your decisions, like that sort of thing. You know, like with the high angle, he'll do like an angle like this, right? And it's like, you know, the someone like Leffen is comfortable doing like a really high bear up here that catches that, but your average Fox player only knows how to do a bear that covers like this sort of space, right? So yeah, I think that's a pretty important thing, is just abusing like how comfortable or uncomfortable the opponent is at covering certain options. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. He had like the complete right idea, it's just the laser didn't come out. Yeah, so again, let's watch from Fox's perspective edge guarding here, right? So he hits you off here, gets this fair, whatever. So Fox is about to edge guard, you know, he does this forward tilt because he wants to cover the side B. But can you see how with this one, like, he just ends the forward tilt, and he's just, from his perspective, he's like, oh, Farker's right next to me, let me hit him, you know? And that's really important because you don't want to be, you know, giving the opponent freebies, right? And it may feel like in the moment, like, oh, I'm shortening, so it's making it harder for him. But, you know, if you watch it from his perspective, right, like, you just land right next to him, and then it's a free hit for him, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So again, just thinking about, you know, maybe dipping a bit low with that recovery. Putting yourself in, like, really awkward positions for him to cover. Like, if you were down here when you did this, he can't really get there that easily, right?
Yeah.
The best thing he could do maybe is, like, you know, run off down here or some shit.
Yeah.
But again, average Fox player isn't really going to do that, right? Nice. Yeah, so there's another one, so let's watch this. You know, he just got shielded up shined. And here, you know, if you're thinking about the Fox here, your opponent's at 109, you're about to win the game, right? You just need one back air. So what's he going to do? He's going to fish for any opportunity to get that back air, right? So, like, you know, the opponent's next to you whiffing, let me double jump and then try and, you know, get up there and set it up, right? So this would be a spot where I'd be thinking, you know, getting out of the way of that, right? Because I know that's what they're sort of looking for.
Yeah.
You know, that could be wave dash out of shield here, maybe. Or just hold the shield, right? And then play like a on-shield mix-up. Cool. Okay, let's jump to one of those other ones then, because it's also important here to, you know, obviously lots of different Fox players play in different ways. So
Yeah.
But is that sort of making sense so far?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
This is tracking.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd just say the main things so far have just been sort of like understanding what positions Fox wants to play. And so that was the main one. So, you know, thinking about the 45 degree and like him having a decent time sort of like moving around you. And then the other thing was, yeah, just about like picking options that are uncomfortable for him to cover, right? Cool. Nice. Yeah, okay, so watch these couple of interactions from Fox's perspective, right? Like, you know, space next to him, you're outside of his range. Laser outside of his range, right? And you're at just that spacing where, like, he can barely not hit you, but you have enough, like, time and space to, like, move in and hit him, right? Whereas the ones before, it was sort of like you didn't have that laser setup, right? Because he would be like jumping around you, or maybe you didn't have time to get a laser out or something like that, right? So for him, it's going to be pretty frustrating, right? Because he can't really get the sorts of hits that he wants. Yep, again, this is another one, right? Like, he sort of, like, messes up his edge guard here, but then he's like, oh, Falco's next to me, let me go over and hit him. Right? Again, just making it as hard as possible. I think this is another one where you could sort of, like, abuse how uncomfortable the Fox feels, right? So... Again, imagine you're port 2, you're Fox here, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the default response here for a lot of players is to try and double jump to sort of get over Falco, right? Because again, we want to set up that that 45 degree angle. And people generally don't like, you know, falling to the ledge. They don't like being on the ground and on the same, you know, underneath Falco here, right? So a lot of people will just double jump up. So, you know, again, if you can understand how the Fox is feeling here, then you could, you know, maybe, you know, move out of the way and then like back air him as he double jumps up or something, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
What were you going to say? Sorry. Before.
I think I was going to ask. I was going to ask what you answered, pretty much.
Okay, cool. yeah. But yeah, this is just another one of those spots where I think when you only focus on your character, it can be hard to sort of like see or feel how much of an advantage you're in. But then when you look at it from the opponent's perspective, it's like he's in the corner at 37, he's just been hit off stage, you know? Like, this is a really tricky spot for him, right? So that's why he's doing this sort of like panic back air. Nice. Not nice. Yes, let's look at this one, right? So this one was a bit different. So it's sort of a neutral sort of zone, right? If I'm Fox here, I don't want to let Falco sort of like get a laser out, right? Like that's my like sort of main one of my main priorities here. So I'm gonna do something to contest the laser that I can't contest, right? Which is if you sort of like run off here, for example, and do one. Whereas if you maybe lasered back here, right, he can't really contest that from where he is, right? But a lot of foxes will just sort of like assume you're gonna shoot a laser into their space, and will throw out like a big move here, like shining or up smashing or something like that, right? Okay. And that's sort of just how he gets that opening there. Is he's just thinking about he's thinking there like, oh, Falco's gonna move forward with a laser. Let me just sort of beat him to the punch, Did I go too far? Yeah.
That was an awful. I don't even know what I was trying to do here.
I think you tried spot dodge maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so this is another one, right? So on the shine knockdown, right? So let's watch it from his perspective. So he did this jump shine, which means that he's going to take a while to get over here, right? Because he has to double jump and then land, and then he has to go up here, then land, and then run this way, right? So if I'm Fox here, and I'd say most sort of like rational players probably won't think they can hit this tech chase, right? Because they're just too far away. Like, they're too far away and they don't have enough time to really get to you. Does that make sense?
So the best thing to do is to cover the one option they can, even though but just safely. So it would be like cover, roll in, but maintain center stage.
Yeah. So they can cover the roll in, keep center stage, and then they're sort of going to wait and bait what you do when you get up, right? So if we're thinking about it that way, and that's the Fox's intention here, then the attempted, like spot dodge or down smash or whatever you were trying to do here doesn't really make too much sense, right? Because from that sort of line of logic, we know he's not just going to run in and try and hit us, right?
Yeah.
So instead, what we probably want to try and do here is either punish him for waiting back here, right? Which could be jumping forward with a laser or an aerial. It could be maybe doing some sort of like run up and then shield, maybe. Or we could try and reposition, right? So maybe full hop out of the corner. Full hop waveland, maybe. I'd say those two are good. You could even go to ledge if you wanted to. But yeah, can you sort of see how, like, once you see that situation from the Fox's side, you don't need to panic as much, right? You don't need to defend yourself immediately because you've sort of got that Yomi level of, like, I know that he knows sort of thing going, right? And, I mean, you will still play people that they will think that they can still get that tech chase. And, versus those people, just spot dodge, shine them, do whatever. But, versus a bit more, like, competent players, they're not going to go for this, right? They're just going to wait. I think you're definitely at the level where, like, the Fox players you're playing against have sort of been spot dodge shined one too many times that they're now, like, never willing to try and punish it, right? To get the tech chase. So they just always bait out the spot dodge, which then, loses quite hard to those other sort of options I mentioned, right? Okay, I know we're talking about Fox here, but I think this is a pretty important conversion to get. What I would do here is do the exact same run you did, but then just do a run cancel down smash.
Oh, would that be like holding? Do you like crouch?
Yeah. So you go through your dash, and then you go into your run, right? and then if you hold down here, you'll enter your crouch, and then you have access to your smash attacks, right?
Okay.
And your other grounded options. And the down smash is just going to put out a really nice hitbox around about here, right? Whereas this is sort of an awkward spot because you don't really have the space of the time to like run off all the way and then double jump down air, right?
Yeah.
So that would be sort of the reason for sort of suggesting that, and you can see how that might hit there, right?
Yeah, I think at this point in the match, I was like, this guy's just... I'm just daring this guy a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start daring
Just
him more.
keep doing it. Yeah. That was good. That was bad. Again, let's look at this one. So again, a recovery spot, right? So if I'm Fox... Yeah, no, it is hard. I was just gonna say, like, if I'm Fox here, my main priority is to avoid the lasers, right? Like, I don't want to get lasered down so that I'm recovering below the stage and I'm in a really bad spot, right? So I'm gonna try to pick sort of recovery angles and positions that avoid the lasers, right? So if you think about, the standard sort of like laser threat is sort of like this box here, right?
Right.
Now, of course, you do have, access to other lasers, like you can laser up here with a full up or like over here or whatever. But this one down here is the main sort of zone that like you have really easy and quick access to, right? Yeah. So he's going to try his best to not recover in this zone, right? Because that just makes your life easier for you, So, that might look like him, trying to get a side B over here so that he can edge cancel. It might be he's going to try and up B high, so like maybe over here. So that, you can go down here or straight or up. He has all those options, right? So bearing that in mind, sometimes, like, you can sort of expect the laser to miss, almost. Because you give them the respect that they're going to try to avoid it, right?
Right.
So if we watch what happens here, he's over that box, right?
Right.
So this is one where, the laser's already covering this zone, so we don't need to cover that anymore. What we need to cover is...
everything else.
Yeah, the stuff in this area, right?
Yeah.
So that could be here, for example, turning your back and then looking for back air. Could be, like short hop nair, forward smash, shield, and then wave dash out. There's a lot of things, right? But I think the key takeaway here is thinking about what your laser is covering, whether or not it will hit, and how the opponent's going to recover to play around that, right?
Right. Okay.
So, like in this example, he's going to recover a bit higher, right? So if you watch this again, just bearing all that in mind, I'd say it's a bit easier to see now that if you just turn around after this laser, right? The laser's already covering kind of low, so you just need to cover high. And he doesn't want to get hit by this, so he's gonna recover up here, right? Again, it's not like a guaranteed edge guard, but it's gonna sort of like increase your odds, I feel like.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. This guy's got some good empty lines. He did that one on the platform and then he did this one here. That was really good.
Keep watching. There, right? Or I guess up tilt might work.
There's like quite a few things you can do here, honestly. I hate Falco combos sometimes. So first of all, I'd say the really easy thing to do here is just a forward smash.
Yeah.
If you just want to end the combo and get it over with. If you want to try and milk this a bit, I would say you could do something like dash back and then dash forward and jump, right? Because that's going to do two things. So first of all, it's going to get... Oh, go on.
You'll have like the dash momentum at
Yep.
the point I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Right now, then I'd be in a different position, right?
Yeah, so that's the first part. And the other part is it's going to let him fall, right? Because he's going to fall to like here. And it's much easier to hit him over here compared to up here, right?
Right, okay.
So the combination of those two factors makes this a lot easier when you do like the dash dance here. And then from there, you could do any aerial you want, really.
I would just go for bear, I guess. Like the most straightforward feels like bear.
Yeah. No, I think that would be the sort of route I would go for here. I'd say leave it at that.
Hit that shine.
Yeah.
I have to hit like a nasty shine dare or something.
Yeah, and the issue there is as well. Just get back to it. No, I'm bad. So like even if you hit this shine, right? If he just DIs this way, you don't really get follow up, right?
Yeah, and he gets to recover from the
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's maybe a mix up between you doing this full hop shine and like just full hop bearing him or something. But I'd still say it's not as good as the other options we sort of talked about, right?
Does he do it?
Nice angle. Okay, so let's look at this one from Fox's perspective again. So Fox is here, you're in the middle. So his decision here that he does is he does dash forward, and then he does a full hop up air like this, right? So if you were playing Fox here, why do you think you'd want to do this?
So I could easily land with a laser here.
Yeah.
And so I basically just own the stage, like the laser height, like the normal laser heights. So I can't really just run in.
Yeah.
I'm not landing with any. I don't think I aerialed, so I'm not gonna land with any lag. Yeah. So you can't just get a free running shine.
Mm-hmm.
And then also full hop in general.
It's just pretty good.
Why not?
Yeah. So it's a combination of all those, right? So like, it's gonna put Fox is gonna be, I'm gonna get above Falco if I'm the Fox. I'm gonna get over his laser, right? Setting up that 45-degree angle, like we said, right? Mm-hmm. So now let's switch back to being Falco. Why do you think this full hop is a bad idea from Fox?
You can just up tilt it.
Yeah, you could up tilt. You could.
You're already facing the right way. You can just dash out of it.
Yeah, get out of the way, right?
And shine.
Yeah. Like we watch what happens here, right? Right, like this should be a pretty easy opening for you if you understand like why Fox is trying to do this. And yeah, it's just sort of like the I don't want to say the Fox mentality, but like a lot of people when they sort of play against Falco in these spots, they're like they only think about like he's gonna laser where he is, so I need to jump over him and hit him. Right? Mm-hmm. They don't really think about that much, like, what if Falco defends himself here with an anti-air? What if he moves out of the way with the laser, right? They only think about the laser happening here. They don't think about it happening, like back here, or again, like him defending himself, him moving out of the way, right? Mm-hmm. They're very sort of like black and white with how and where they want to attack. They're just thinking, like, what is the biggest possible threat range I have here to contest the next laser? But if you just simply move out of the way of that and shoot your laser anyway, it puts him in a really bad spot, right? Because he's just sort of overextended into you. That's another good one. So, great shield grab. Okay, so if I'm Fox here, what do you think I'm worried about?
Grab is pretty scary.
Yep.
Like run up JC grab.
Yep.
Just getting more lasers in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty scary. And then trying to get I can stuff it. He'll if I laser him, he'll full hop.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can read that and just go for a bear, a nair, or something with a full hop.
Yep.
Yeah, laser grab, approaching. I could tomahawk shine grab.
Yeah, like an approaching just even like a short hop aerial here, right? Like Fox doesn't want to be in this sort of again, horizontal space, right? Because this is where Falco really succeeds, right?
Why is a short hop a short hop aerial on shield scary? If, you could just roll out of it, right? Or is it I can only roll out of it, so that way I know to punish the roll.
It's sort of Falco could jump forward and then do a late aerial, right?
Okay, is that so? It's not free, the roll.
No, because he could also do stuff I think we're maybe going too many steps here.
Okay.
I'm just trying to sort of lay down first of all, sort of what are the big things that Fox is scared of getting hit by here, right? He doesn't want to get hit by an aerial because he's in the corner and he'll end up off stage. He doesn't want to get hit by a grab because he's gonna get thrown off stage, right? Mm-hmm. And he doesn't really want to be getting pelted in the face by lasers, right?
Right.
So, thinking about all three of those, it's pretty reasonable that he's just gonna full hop here, right? Because that sort of avoids all three of those. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's what else can he do other than something bad, right?
Yeah. He has a lot of other options, don't get me wrong. But this is just the very generic default answer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, cool. So in terms of, playing around that, just sort of reading it, like you said, you could dash forward and then full hop up here with something. You could just dash on the ground and wait for him to land and then sort of pressure from there. Because again, you're not really in a spot here where you can just hit him immediately, right? Because you're a bit too far. But you're also in a spot where he can't really threaten you at all, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't have any options here that really hit you. So now when we watch this, watch what happens, right? So you run up from all this way away and try to grab, and now he just gets to fall on top of you with an aerial, right? And now we're in a pretty bad spot, and I think we die for it, probably. Oh, wow. Okay, probably should have died for it. Yeah. But yeah, so this is a spot where, again, I think if you think about it from Fox's spot, right? He probably won't get hit by this grab, right? Because he knows how threatening it is.
Right.
So he's going to do everything he can. He literally full hop double jumps to get out of the way of it, And those spots where the opponent's got so much to worry about that they have to do all this preemptive shit, right? That's when you can just sort of wait for them and let them sort of hang themselves, a lot of people call it, right?
Yeah.
Just that, throwing in that little dash dance there could really screw him over, Mm-hmm. Or that delayed, timing. Oof. Again, this is another one. So, I'm Fox. Falco just landed behind me. If I'm Fox here, I have a pretty good move that hits behind me in anti-airs.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Yeah. So, if I'm Fox here, I'd say the level 1 is just to sort of up tilt, right? Because it's just going to hit whatever Falco tries to do sort of aggressively, right?
Yeah, an AC bear is kind of shit in this.
Yeah, right. It loses to Fox up tilting. It loses, if he wants to sort of get away here because he's at a bit of a disadvantage, it sort of loses to that as well, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing it maybe covers is a full hop here. But you know, Fox doesn't want to full hop precisely because of this bear, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows it'll get hit. So again, this is a spot where, like, once you sort of follow that logic, you might want to do something like dash dance here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can whiff punish that up tilt. Or you might want to try and, like, overshoot back here to read the dash back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
My main concern right now is like, oh man, like, this all makes sense. Like when you're studying it, like this
Yeah.
is pretty straightforward, right? This is just analysis. So a lot of interactions.
It is, yeah, no, it is. But I think a lot of them is the same sort of not fundamental rules, but like it's the same sort of reasons for why they're doing stuff, right? You just got to apply it to different situations. So like the main ones that have come up so far is like you know, like Falco has like a really big threat on me, I need to move out the way, right? Mm-hmm. Or I need to do something to play around that. Or, you know, I'm in a really good position relative to Falco, you know, maybe that 45 degree, maybe above him. And so I'm going to throw out a move to try and hit you, right?
Yeah.
I think understanding the reasoning behind it, and then sort of like translating that to what's sort of happening on the screen specifically, is sort of like what you should focus on, I guess, at the start. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a matter of like experience and sort of getting in the hours of looking into it, you know, playing it, that sort of thing, right?
Right.
Oops. Cool. But I mean, it does seem like you're following along, so I think you do understand it. It's just because it's quite new. It's sort of like kind of shaky, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I think for the last like 10 minutes, I think let's actually watch a Mango VOD. I think that would probably be the best way to
go over watching Mango VODs. much better Falcos than me. I like watching him. Like, yeah, he's just doing the cool shit.
Yeah, but I think
like an actual Mango player, a Fox player or Falco player watches it.
Yeah, I think the main thing I think is just he's very good at playing around like the basic threat that's on the table. Yeah.
Do you want to watch main stage grand finals?
I want to actually watch one versus Fox worse than him, like quite a bit.
Okay, that makes sense.
Toph from CEO 2050. I want something from like this century.
Let me think. Has he played anyone I know?
I can look on here quickly. Mango. Falco. Fox. Yes, Fop, no. I played Toph at Gommel. Sure, let's watch this. No disrespect to Toph, but I'd say he's a lot worse than Mango.
No worries.
Yep. Okay. Can you still see?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, all good. Okay.
I will say, I think every time you pause though, that thing's gonna show up again. Oh, never
I
mind.
think I closed it. This is all combo stuff. I don't really care. Yep, so I think, first of all, this one, right? So, he whiffs the aerial, and he's thinking here, like, you know, Fox doesn't want to be on the same plane as me, right? He wants to try and jump to get over and create that 45 degree, right? So watch what Mango does. You know, he backs up, and sets up that turn back situation, right? To be able to contest this a lot better, right? Switch to the next one. So this one runs through, Toph whiffs that. So in Fox's mind, he's probably thinking... Oh, gone.
Went out, I think.
No. Are you good?
Oh, I heard you for a second.
Yo, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Sorry, my mic always does this for some reason. It like randomly cuts out.
You're good.
Where did it cut out?
Right before you grabbed the pen, you were about to you whatever the last thing you said was, that entire part I didn't hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. So I was just saying that with this one. So Fox just whiffed this nair, right? Mango ran through and shielded. So Fox's mind right now, he's probably thinking about like, I want to try and hit Falco for trying to get away here, right? Mm-hmm. So he's going to try and do like another nair in, probably something like that. As sort of like the level 1. So what Mango does, right, is he sort of like beats him to the punch here by doing a wave dash himself in and sort of getting there quicker, right? So if you watch what happens. Oops. That is not what happens. Right, so you can see Toph tries to dash backwards, jump, nair in, and Mango beats into it, right? So let's watch this one. So Dare whiffs, you know, Toph's dash dancing. Again, what's Fox going to try and do? He's going to try and hit Falco for lasering, right? As like the level 1 with like a nair or whatever. So what does Mango do? He backs up a little bit and then sort of goes from here, right? So he's never like sort of in the range to just get hit by Fox's like immediate option, right? Or like tries not to be, unless he has to. Or unless it's sort of like a spot that's good for him, right? I'd say this is sort of another one as well. So he gets this laser edge guard, grabs the ledge. If I'm Fox here, my main concern at the moment is going to be back air, right? From the ledge. Right. Which again sort of covers this sort of space. Mm-hmm. Would you say? So if I'm...
Would you say that,
oh, go on.
So Fox is going to kind of go for like a slightly higher angle, and then you kind of like... Yeah, it's something I've actually figured out recently, this week. Is like I keep messing up this specific interaction, and so I started calling it out a little more and just going to all the way to back air that angle.
Yeah,
that you highlighted.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one way you can go about it. The important thing here is you can't do one bear that covers every angle.
Right.
But then you see what Mango does here, right? Is he jumps on stage. Fox is going to go high up, and then he has a really time just throwing out an F smash here, right? And it's just going to sort of hit. Oh, my angle was really close. The yellow line was pretty close. Okay. But yeah, again, it's just sort of always thinking about, like, what's the sort of level 1 thing that the Fox is thinking about respecting, and what's the next step after that, right?
Okay. And you just do this in game, like, all day? And how many levels do you get to?
I mean, like, if if you watch Mango Lesson here, for example, it just gets to the point where like Leffen's just gonna sometimes go straight here, because it's like
there's only so many levels before it becomes a cycle.
Yeah, I'd say like here there's only really like maybe 2 or 3.
So then I guess this is the paradox that I've been trying to figure out is like, then is at like the top level, Mango Leffen.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it just for RPS at that point? Like, it's not. I know it's not because Mango consistently beats Leffen. Though he will lose every now and then.
Yeah.
But like, what do you just throw out random shit? Like, do you just random number generate like every interaction?
No, so like the interesting part comes in with, first of all, like it's not always a clean like rock paper scissors. First of all, you know, there's lots of other options going on. The other part is that like sort of how you pick between the rock paper and the scissors and how much you do each of them depends a lot on variables like, you know, the risk reward, which, you know, depends on the percent, the stage position, the character, and also, you know, like I'll use an example with Falcon, right? Like if you're risking getting grabbed by a Falcon, that risk is a lot lower versus like say S2J than it is versus Wizzy, right?
Right.
So how someone like Mango is going to play his mix-ups and play those RPSs is going to change depending on whether it's Wizzy or
So
S2J.
there's like weights to it.
Yeah, it's weighted. It's a weighted RPS, yeah. And that weight changes, you know, even with the same player, it can change dramatically over the course of a set, right?
Yeah.
God,
God, I hate this game.
yeah.
It's so hard.
It is so hard, yeah. But I mean,
Every time
that's...
I'm like, oh, I'm getting better. I'm like, oh shit, it's just so much harder to get.
Yeah.
You realize how much you don't know, the more you know.
Yeah, I think if you did want to read up on that sort of aspect of it a bit more, there's this thing called game theory, which is... Yeah.
My, math major.
Yeah. So like that shit is all like high level melee. It's just game theory.
You're right.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. But yeah, it can sort of feel like that sometimes. Like, you know, and this is sort of how someone like Wizzy plays, right? They just sort of cycle between like 3 options, and like, you know, their risk reward just sort of works out in their favor. But you know, obviously there's more levels to it than that, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And you know, people don't know every single mix-up perfectly, right? Like even the best. Oh, god damn it. Let me just go back.
Actually, a really quick question that's just
Go for it.
specific. Do you prefer grounded shine out of shields or like West balls, or like not grounded ones? Because I'm better at grounded ones than I am at like
Shine out of shield, was that?
Yeah.
I would say I personally aim for non-grounded just because there's more leniency.
And you can get like the bear out faster.
Yeah, you can get the bear out faster, and so like the grounded one is like a 1-frame input, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and you have to do separate inputs after that, right? Because say you want to do like a shine and then wave dash out of shield, right? You have to go through your jump squat, which is then going to sort of delay the trigger press, right? Whereas if you get the airborne one, you jump immediately, so then your trigger press is different, right? So if you're like half the time getting a grounded, half the time getting airborne, that's going to make it really tricky to like consistently hit that wave dash out of it, right? Or wave land or whatever. So that's my like personal reasoning for like why I go for airborne, and I'm pretty sure I can't really think of any Falcos that purposefully do grounded shine out of shield with like wave shine, you know. Even if it is, you know, the fastest technically.
Fuck, I've been practicing that. I'm really good at those.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it has some like specific uses where it can be good. So, for example, a fox drilling your shield, like being frame perfect, that actually matters a lot of the time.
What are the... Yeah, I guess that's another good question. I know we're a little over, so we can end it.
No.
But yeah, so drill on shield.
Yep.
And trying to shine out a shield that. Like what...
Yep.
I know it's a multi-hit and it's weird, but what do I need to know about it? Like, I'm bad at it. I'm very bad at it, and I don't know why.
Okay, so so the drill on shield, as far as I'm aware, is either minus... are you comfortable with like frame data roughly in terms of on shield? Yeah, so it's either -6, -7, or -8, depending on how the drill hits the shield. When the last hit
if
hits.
If it's -6, then you can still get the grab out, right?
You can still get a shine. You can't grab it because the... Go on.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go
What's the frame
first.
data? What's the frame data on Shine Grab? I know, not Shine Grab, Shield Grab. I know it's a 4 frame.
Shield
I
grab's
think 4
7.
frames. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so shield grab's 7. Falco Shine Out of Shield is 6. But this is where the airborne thing comes in, right? Because each frame you delay it by more, you're gonna get up to 7, 8, 9, etc.
So it's right on the
Edge.
there.
Yeah, so that's what makes it tricky, and that's why I was saying, like, doing it frame perfect is actually quite valuable there. And then, like, Fox's is 4, which is why his is a lot better than Falco's.
And can you shine at any point in jump squat, or do you have to shine? Is it like wave dash?
It's like wave dash. You have to be you have to exit jump squat.
Okay. What can you do out of jump squat?
You can do grab and up smash and up B.
Oh, okay.
Any up moves, right? Like that's why something like up B out of shield works, is because you go into your jump squat and then you cancel it with an up B.
Okay.
Similar with like
up B, up smash. Okay.
Yeah, similar with like jump cancel grab, right? Like you're canceling the jump squat with the grab. Is sort of why it's called that.
The 3 worst things for Falco.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas if you're Fox, that like I don't know, 2 out of 3 of those are pretty good.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Did you have any other like little questions or anything, or do you want to wrap up there?
That's really helpful.
Okay. Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I'll be in touch. I've been getting better, and it feels really good. So I'm getting taking this momentum.
Yeah. Awesome.
As much as possible. So yeah, I think probably finishing out Falco, and then either Sheik or Ices.
Yeah.
I think one class on Ices might be best.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the whole 3-pack for Sheik would be great because it's fucking chic.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right,
so I'd say just in terms of like implementing. Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you.
You're fine. Okay. I'd say just in terms of implementing this, just any time you're watching a tournament, right? Just try because it's very easy to be like, oh, I want to watch from the Falco's perspective, right? But just try watching from the other character's perspective for a little bit.
Okay.
Not even like the whole game. Just switch between the two. And I
okay.
think that will really train the skill, and it'll open your eyes to a lot of sort of situations you didn't see before.
So is the idea that I kind of study a lot of interactions before the game, and in the game it's more second nature, or is it even in the game, the skill will kind of comes out like more?
Yeah,
easily?
yeah. I'd say it is sort of a bit of both.
Okay.
Because again, it's just about getting a feel for like what your opponent wants to do, right? And that's easier if you're looking from their perspective rather than your perspective, right?
Gotcha.
Cool.
All right, Elliot.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good weekend. Have a good night.
Yeah. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, later.